Okay, welcome to another new episode of Nate's MMA Corner. I'm Nate, and if you watch my show, you're in my corner. Today's episode's a pre-fight show for UFC 217, Bisping versus St-Pierre for the UFC Middleweight Championship of the World. And this card, top to bottom, from the first prelim to the main event, is just a star-studded card. I mean, you got Zahabi's brother fighting in the first prelim, and then you have the main event with Bisping and St-Pierre. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. So this is a pre-fight rundown on the main card, and let's get started. So the main event is a middleweight clash for the UFC Gold. Michael the Count Bisping defending the championship against a returning George St-Pierre, who's making his big splash at middleweight after having such a illustrious career at welterweight. And yeah, I think George St-Pierre is severely underestimating Michael Bisping in this fight. I think George St-Pierre thinks he's going to just wrestle for 25 minutes, Michael Bisping, lay on top of him, and win a boring decision. Not to take anything away from St-Pierre, but it's just like, it's happened. And I don't think St-Pierre necessarily always plans for that, but I mean, a win is a win. I mean, no matter how exciting or not exciting it is, it's about winning these fights. And St-Pierre is great at doing that. He's one of the greatest fighters of all time. With that said, though, Bisping, his takedown defense has gotten better over the last several years, and if he gets taken down, he's good at popping right back up. And then he has heavy hands, and he has that knockout power. And we haven't seen that kind of knockout power from George St-Pierre in years and years and years. But Michael Bisping, he can knock people out still. And he is definitely a threat. I mean, he knocked out Luke Rockhold to win the belt, and a lot of people didn't see that coming, including myself, and I was there live to see it. So yeah, I'm picking Michael Bisping to win by unanimous decision. I think he keeps his fight standing, and he boxes with St-Pierre, and he wins on the striking. He uses those heavy shots, and he just picks apart St-Pierre bit by bit, and then as the fight goes on, it's going to be harder and harder for St-Pierre to take down Bisping. And then on top of it, the first couple rounds, Bisping's going to be fresh, so he's going to stuff those takedowns a little easier. And I think Bisping St-Pierre will be able to get a takedown or two, but Bisping will know how to deal with it, and also he's pretty much an expert in BJJ, and so is St-Pierre. I mean, St-Pierre technically has the better jiu-jitsu, but Michael Bisping's not that far behind. This isn't like it's not like a black belt versus a blue belt. Last time I checked, Michael Bisping's a brown belt. And yeah, so this fight is going to be exciting. You got two legends in the sport, two of the most winning fighters in UFC history, duking it out for UFC Gold. And then in the co-main event in the bantamweight division, we have the UFC Bantamweight Championship on the line versus it's Cody Garbrandt defending the belt against returning TJ Dillashaw. And these are arch rivals at its best here. They both have some animosity towards each other with the whole Team Alpha Male history thing. And oh man, you know what? I went back and forth on this fight. I wasn't sure who to pick because TJ Dillashaw is really fast and he has great footwork. Cody Garbrandt has excellent boxing. But I think TJ Dillashaw has, if it goes a distance, I think TJ could win a decision. But I think Garbrandt has knockout power to catch him with his killer boxing skills. And so I think Garbrandt wins third round knockout in this fight and defends that belt. But I'm only giving Cody Garbrandt a 51% chance of winning this fight. I think there's that 49% chance that TJ Dillashaw gets us to a decision and wins the fight. Yeah, so this fight is a pick'em fight. I mean, really, I don't know what's going to happen in this fight. But if I had to really guess, really just, you know, pick one, it's going to be, I guess, Cody Garbrandt. But again, only 51% chance for Cody Garbrandt. I think this is a real even matchup. And then in the women's strawweight division, we have Joanna Jędrzejczyk defending the women's strawweight title in the UFC against Rose Namajunas. And Rose is her second crack at UFC Gold. The first time was against Carla Esparza in the inaugural strawweight title fight. And I am picking Joanna Jędrzejczyk to win by decision here. I think Rose is going to actually shoot for some takedowns at some point in this fight. And I think Joanna is going to be able to defend submission attempts in the guard barely, actually. Because I think Rose has very underrated Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And Joanna, you know, her weak spot is, I think, her takedown defense. But she's able to get back up. I mean, the Claudia fight, she, you know, had to deal with the ground game. And I think this fight, for the most part, is going to stay standing. I think Joanna will stuff some takedowns, but Rose may get one or two. But I think the majority of this fight stays standing, and Rose has excellent Taekwondo skills, obviously. And Joanna has her killer kickboxing. And so I think Joanna is going to basically outpoint on strikes against Rose and win a unanimous decision. And I think, yeah, like there's going to be maybe a round or two where Joanna just drastically lands more. Maybe rounds 4 and 5. But I think it starts off in the first 2 or 3 rounds pretty even, and Rose gets a round or two with takedowns. So, I mean, I'm going to say, like, Rose wins a round or two, and then Joanna wins unanimous decision. Maybe even a split decision. This is going to be a competitive fight. This is going to be an exciting fight. This is a great title fight, especially for the diehard fans. And the casual fans, they'll know who Rose is after this fight, because she will put on a show. She will leave it all in that cage, and she will go for that belt. And Joanna, she's a world-class champion, so 2 high-caliber fighters. It's a win-win for the fans. And in the welterweight division, also on the main card, we have Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Jorge Masvidal. And I am picking Stephen Thompson, 3rd round knockout. I think this fight stays standing for the most part, but Jorge Masvidal shoots for some takedowns maybe in round 2, and then doesn't get him because Chris Weidman has really helped out Stephen Thompson with his takedown defense over the last couple years, and we're rounding out more Stephen Thompson's game. And Jorge Masvidal is a great talent, knockout power, but Stephen Thompson is a little hard to hit, and obviously great stand-up skills, and I think Stephen Thompson wins eventually with a 3rd round knockout. Then in the middleweight division, to kick off the main card, we have Johnny Hendricks versus Paulo Costa. And man, you know what? Like, yeah, you know, it just like, oh man, I'm just like, this one again, I am like 51% chance Paulo wins this fight, because Johnny Hendricks, I think, may use his wrestling and go for takedowns, but Paulo has killer knockout, and so I think and not too shabby jiu-jitsu skills. So I think Paulo wins 2nd round knockout. But at the same time, I mean, Johnny Hendricks, I think this is a good weight class for him at middleweight. Win or lose this fight, I think he should stay at middleweight. But yeah, I think Paulo is one of those guys under the radar who we're going to hear more about, win or lose this fight. But yeah, I'll say 51% chance Paulo wins this fight. This is a good, close, competitive fight. And so yeah, I'm picking Paulo round 2 knockout. but I'm not too confident in that pick. Yeah, so this is a star-studded main card, and that wraps up my pre-fight predictions, the main card, and honorable mentions on the prelims. You got a lightweight clash with James Vick and Joseph Duffy. That's going to be awesome. And then also Randy Brown and Mickey Gall at welterweight. So check out those ones on Fox Sports 1. And then Curtis Blades, Olenek in a heavyweight clash on the Fight Pass prelims. That's going to be awesome. That was going to happen on the last pay-per-view card. And so that wraps up the pre-fight show. And until then, look for in the coming days my post-fight show for this card. And until then, I will see ya.